smile on your face makes it easy to trust you.
What's up, Fire Mom? So, you see the title. I'm going to try and make this as short and sweet as possible. Okay, now, trying to think about where I should start at. The title is When I Started Dancing. No, what's the title? What am I going to call it? The first time I started stripping and why. Okay, so basically, I started dancing at the age of 18. The initial thought of me even thinking about doing it in the first place was because my friend actually, so my best friend, she was dating some girl, and I just kept hearing about, I already knew what strippers were and stuff. Like, I've been around I've heard about it, like, growing up a lot, and and I've always been a kind of hustler and a go-getter, and it just was something that, did kind of catch my interest when I did first initially hear about it. But it was never, like, when I first started thinking about it, it was never for the attention and stuff. It was always because I wanted to make money, because I was very self-sufficient at a young age, and I felt like, why not go make larger amounts of money instead of working harder, work smart not hard type of thing. Okay, so my best friend actually had a girlfriend that was dancing out in Philadelphia somewhere, and when she used to talk about how she called her Paradise. The girl's name was Paradise. She was like, Paradise brought home so much money tonight. Like, she used to always talk about how much money she had. And I was just telling her, like, I want to dance. I think I had a conversation with her before, thinking about, like, how I wanted to dance or whatever. This was when I was 16 or 17 when this conversation kind of emerged. I think I was like 16, about to be 17 or something like that. But we had this conversation, and she was like, you got to wait till you're 18. You probably make a lot of money, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So then, fast track years later, because I can't really dance under the age of 18 unless I had a fake ID, and I wasn't doing all of that. Okay, this light is looking real blue. Okay, whatever. So fast forward, my camera's about to die. So fast forward years later, I was working about, I want to say, like 3 jobs. I was about to be 18. I was 17. I had dropped out of school at the age of 16. That'll be a whole nother video I'll get into. I dropped out of school at the age of 16. Main reason is because I was pretty much on my own, and I had to work more hours, and I just was like, school just was not working for me. I wanted it to, but it just didn't work out at that point in time. So I was working on my own. I was working 3 jobs. I was kind of I remember I was working at the Cherry Hill Mall. I was working 3 jobs at the Cherry Hill Mall, and I was working, where was I working? I worked at College Spring. It was like a shoe store, something like Aldo, a sister store. I was working, what else was the other job I had? I was also a waitress at Friendly's. I was working at a shoe store. I was also working at a clothing store called City Blue. And I was a part-time photographer for JCPenney. So, like, I had all of this going on all at the age of 17. And I had all of these jobs. I can't remember what. I know I got rid of one of them out of the 3, and I had like 3, but I can't remember which one it was. I want to say it was the waitressing one, because all the rest of them were at the Cherry Hill Mall. And this other one was up the highway in opposite directions, so I could only work there certain days. And it just started to become not worth it. Because at least with my other 2 jobs, my other 3 jobs, I was all in the same mall. And a lot of times what I would do is I would work morning shift at one job, get off, and go straight to my other one and work there until the mall closed. And that was pretty much my life for a while. I really didn't have any other options. I wasn't 18 yet. I couldn't really dance. There were some girls that I lived out in Camden at the time. I was staying with my ex-girlfriend at her house, and that wasn't something we kind of planned. It was just one of those things, like, I had got kicked out of my house, and she just kind of let me, like, she kind of asked her mom, could I come stay, and it just worked out. But, like, it wasn't like we was just crazy in love. Like, everything just kind of happened that way. So yeah, I moved with her. At the time, she was actually towards the end of me about to turn 18. She actually got locked up. She got locked up and put in jail. So I was just out there on my own. She wasn't around no more. I was like still staying with her family and stuff. But you know, at a certain time, it starts to become uncomfortable because I'm like, you know, this is her family. It's not really my family. I'm her girlfriend, but like, it's just still kind of, you know, we was together for a little while, but it was just still kind of, you know, I kind of felt like I was overstaying my welcome. So, but I was at work most of the time, so it just, you know, it worked out for the time being. So I'm trying to get in. It's just so much, y'all. Like, this is just such a story. I probably missed so much stuff. It's just one of those things. I'm bringing back myself a lot of memories in the past. So yeah, with the 3 jobs, it was just overwhelming. Like, I lived in Camden. I had to catch 2 buses to work every day because I worked at the Cherry Hill Mall and I lived in Camden. So I had to take one bus called the 400 up the avenue. Then I would have to go to the bus terminal, the Camden bus terminal, and I would have to wait for the bus that goes to the Cherry Hill Mall. And this is something that I did every single day in and day out. Take 2 buses there, 2 buses home. It just was like so overwhelming, especially like, but I made it work for the time being. So yeah, I was running myself ragged to barely make anything because, as y'all know, like, those little jobs don't be paying nothing. Like, so the whole goal, the reason why I worked so hard is because I wanted to get my own spot and I wanted to get out of the situation I was in. I was tired of floating around from one person's house to another person's house. I was underage. It was hard for me to do anything. So we're coming up on my 18th birthday. The idea of dancing is strong in my mind, and I'm just like, you know, this is something I'm going to have to do. I don't care, you know, I don't care what nobody thinks about it. I could care less because at the end of the day, I'm struggling alone. So it doesn't really matter what anybody has to say. And around the time I started dancing, it wasn't as accepted as it is now. Like, right now, it's normal. Everybody doing it, you know, it's normal to everybody. But when I first started, which was like, I want to say back in like 2011, was it somewhere around there? Like, it wasn't as accepted now, and it wasn't as popular. Like, it wasn't all trend and all that. But anyway, so like, when I started doing it, oh yeah, so we were coming up on my 18th birthday, and I'm so nervous. Why am I so nervous to tell this story? It's because I've always been so personal about this. Like, I never really hid it. Like, when I was younger, I was more out in the open with it, but like, probably once I hit 19, it was like I kind of just put it away and kept it to myself, and it was my business. So like, it just feels really strange to share this with y'all, but I'm just like, you know, one day it's gonna come out, so like, why not just go ahead and just get it out of the way and let y'all know what's up. But yeah, okay, so coming up on my 18th birthday, I was like trying to get into clubs. I was like about to be 18 in a few days, and my girlfriend's grandfather had a friend, and he was like, okay, you know, I don't know if we went, I don't remember if her grandfather came. I want to say he took me by himself. I was underage. I was still 17. It was like a couple of days before my birthday. He took me to some clubs. Like, we went out to Philadelphia. We went out to some clubs in New Jersey. And he took me around, like, so I can get a feel of it. And I remember my first dancer that actually tried to give me a lap dance. Her name was Cicely. I know that's weird, but like, I actually remember that. And we went to a couple different clubs or whatever. I think we did get a dance from Cicely. I can't remember. But anyways, so we went to a whole bunch of different clubs. And, you know, I kind of got the feel of it. And I'm like, okay, I could do this, you know. He got me in so I could take a look. And I was like, okay, I could do this. So I felt out which club I was going to work at. I chose a club somewhere in New Jersey. And my 18th birthday, I went to go audition. Like, smack dead on my 18th birthday, I went to go audition for this club. And, y'all, my audition was a hot mess. Like, when I tell y'all, I want to say that my audition song was Give Me That Bass by Sierra. I was zipping all around that stage like a crackhead. I looked terrible. You know, I was scared. I was just like, it just was like a lot. Like, it was a lot for the, you know, it just was crazy. Like, I was just all over the place. I was dancing super fast like I was at the club, and it just was all bad. So, but they hired me. So I got hired. It was a decent club. It was part of like a nice little chain of clubs that actually were well known in the area. So, you know, I started there. I want to say I started a couple days later, and I remember my first day. I remember it like I had to catch a cab to work because I don't think the bus went over there, so I had to catch a cab to work every day. So I still actually was holding on to a couple of my jobs at the time. When I first started working at the club, I was still holding on to my jobs. So I went there, and My first night, I remember it like it was yesterday. I'm trying to remember what I wore. I think I had like a little bra and panties, because you know when you're a new dancer you wear bra and panties. Like you don't really have many dance outfits. Like that all comes in time. I had like a pair of regular heels, and I had chose my dancer name. I really don't understand why they even let me choose the name that they I don't even know why they even let me have this name. The first stripper name I've ever chose was Miss Pac-Man. Why did they let me keep that name? I look like a damn fool. Like, and the reason why I chose that name is because I actually had a lesbian tattoo on my stomach, which said, like, it was like a two Mrs. Pac-Man kissing with a rainbow heart. So it was like I just chose that because like of that. But that's not a cute name for the club. So the girls pretty much changed my name that same night. Like, they were actually a nice little group of girls, and they actually tried to look out for me. They knew I was new, and they tried to take me under their wing, so it worked out. But they changed my name, and they gave me the name Taj. So basically my real first dance name was Taj, T-A-J. That was like my first dance name. And they gave me the name Taj. And another girl gave me a pair of her shoes. They were really cute. I remember them. They were like some black heels, and they had like a lace tie up. They were like real stripper shoes, and she's like, you can have those. I don't wear them anymore. They hurt my feet. So she gave me a real pair of stripper shoes. And I literally had a panic anxiety attack my first night, to the point where I started hyperventilating. I was breathing so hard, like the room started spinning. I started seeing spots. Like, I don't even think I wasn't even drinking. Oh yeah, because I wasn't of age, and they really don't play that in New Jersey. Now, like other clubs I worked at, they might play a little bit of games, but not in New Jersey. They weren't playing it. So yeah, so I just started seeing spots. Like, I was about to pass out. I had a terrible headache. I believe I even threw up. Like, it was just all anxiety, like just, and I really just didn't know what to do, you know, talking to customers and stuff like that. All of that came in time. But I remember I started to get the hang of it, and like I remember thinking that first night, like, I'm never going back. Like, this is not something I can do. I don't see myself doing this. I thought I was made for this, but I'm not. Like, this is not for me. And I don't know why, because like I wasn't no innocent girl. Like, I don't know like what it was, but it's just something about it. I think it's because like I kind of felt like my innocence was being taken away from me, because like I'm being a big bad stripper. Like, I don't know what it was, but like my head was just really messing with me, especially when I told you like around the time that I started dancing, it wasn't as accepted. Like, so it wasn't like I had dancers on TV like, yeah girl, get them coins. Cardi B was nowhere to be found. Like, it wasn't like Cardi B was like, yeah girl, get your money. Like, it wasn't none of that. It was just like, you're a stripper, you're a hoe, end of story. None of that. Like, which it really doesn't matter what nobody thinks, because they don't know why you were where you were. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I was dealing with. And after a while, I just kind of got over it. And I just got over it, and I started making money. And I remember my first night actually making some decent money. It was the weekend. I went and splurged, y'all. I went straight to the gallery. Like, when you first start dancing, managing money, especially when you come from nothing like me, when you ain't have nothing and you're finally used to having some stuff, you just get real crazy. I remember I went and splurged, y'all. I bought some thick spiral gold hoop earrings. And I want to say, now that wasn't my first pair of gold jewelry, because I've had somebody give me some gold jewelry before that. But it was my first pair, like my first real jewelry item I bought for myself. And I had these large, big old spiral hoops I went and got from the gallery out there in Philly. No, I got them from the Cherry Hill Mall. I didn't go to the gallery, but I did go splurge at the gallery. I went to the gallery and just bought a whole bunch of stuff, like some oils and some crazy stuff. Just went crazy. And I just remember like loving being able to buy what I want whenever I want. And like, I don't even think I can't even remember how much money I was making. It's crazy, but because like when you start to dance for a certain amount of time, you start to look at it like all people's money is not the same. So I don't remember if it was a lot. It seemed like a lot at the time, but it probably wasn't, because I was new. But yeah, so it just was an interesting thing. Like, you know, the experience really has made me into the person I am today. I learned a lot. I grew up really fast, and I see the world from a different perspective than most might because of this. Being a dancer and being in a club, you get to see the world for what it really is, not what the world dresses itself up to be. Because, you know, people are all into this kind of stuff. You know, more people let go in places like this, and you know, you see the cookie cutter version of society when you're not in a place like this. So, you know, you just get the raw aspect of life being a dancer. And it's like, I've been through a lot doing it, and you know, there's just so many stories on top of stories on top of stories, like just crazy stuff. Like I've been all over the country, well, all over the East Coast, but you know, I wouldn't change it for nothing. It used to be a part of me that I could say that I was ashamed of, but I wouldn't take it back. And the thing is, I still do dance here and there. I'm trying to get out of it, but like once it gets to a point where when you start dancing, you start to get these expectations. You start to, it's like basically if a person was a millionaire and then they became flat broke one day, like not on that high of a scale, but something like that. Like you have higher bills, you have larger expectations, you kind of feel entitled to certain things. Like I remember, like I've stopped dancing for a while and I'll start back and stuff, and I remember like just not being able to just buy what I want when I want, like going to the store and buying food, like being able to eat out when I want to eat out, and just like different stuff like that. You get used to. And right now I'm in college because honestly, y'all, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, like I'm tired of dancing. Now I'm not gonna say I'm gonna stop and I'm just done with it completely, but I am tired of it. Like I've had enough. Like I'm just to the point where I feel like something else is out there for me and I'm over it. And it becomes draining to your soul sometimes, and you just need to take a break, because especially if you're not like real fake, like they like that fake stuff, like they want you to, I'm not really good at selling dreams when it comes to like pretending I like somebody and all that. Like if you're trying to get a dance, that's cool, I can get that. But if you like want me to make you feel like I'm gonna be your wife one day, I'm sorry, like it's just not that easy for me to do that, because I make most of my money based off of my personality. Like a lot of people think I'm cool, like as far as trying to be, I just think I'm too I don't want to say this, but I think I'm too real for this shit. Like I don't even, that sounds crazy, but I don't know, like I'm just not into, it's just not my thing, you feel me? It is, but it's not. Like I've been doing it, but it's really not my thing. I want to make money off of doing something I genuinely love. And it's just one of those things, like I'm not going to say I'm trying to get out of it as soon as possible, like, which I am, but I'm not saying like it's something wrong with it, because then that would like counteract me being not ashamed of it. But it's just like I kind of want to do it until it makes sense not to do it anymore. Like basically I want to try to make money in other aspects to the point where I'm not needing to dance anymore. Like I have other side hustles I do, like I drive, ride share, and I do different things. Like I'm trying to make it to where I'm making enough income to where that's an option, not a necessity, you know. And that's why I'm in school, because there's no job right now that I can get that's going to pay me what would adequately cover my bills, you know. Without me, you know, it's not gonna work out, y'all. Like I'm just gonna keep it real. Like I have high bills, so it's just one of those things where I'm in school right now, and what I'm going to school for can cover my bills once I get out and get into my field. So that's the whole point. So, you know, but it's just one of those things, like I'm not ashamed of it anymore, but however I am very personal about it, only for the simple fact where when I was younger I used to be a little bit more reckless, but now I'm like, I'm not about to be all over the place twerking, showing my yams and doing the most when I get paid to do that. Like I'm not about to be out here doing all that. Like if I get paid to do it at the club, why am I going to come out into the real world and just do that for free? Like that doesn't really make sense, you know. But anyways, y'all, I'm out of breath, I'm thirsty. Thank y'all for listening to me. This was like all over the place, but I really appreciate y'all for taking y'all time out and listening to my story. In the thumbnail, that's actually Brookhaven and I. That was like, she was like a feature at my club or whatever. That picture is atrocious. Like my eyebrows were so thin, I looked at a mess, y'all. Like, oh my gosh. But yeah, anyways, y'all, much love. Thank y'all for listening to my story. Peace, love, and positive vibes y'all way.